Holistics recognize that a strong digestive system transforms how the body absorbs nutrients from food we eat, optimizing vitality if the digestive system is taken care of through considered nutrition. Additionally, dietary protein is subject to its behavior with the gut. Therefore, from a holistic point, consuming protein as part of a balanced diet, although highly important, is one part of a wider picture. And the type of protein plays a major role in overall well-being beyond muscle development. In this video, we explore protein from a holistic perspective, emphasizing that various protein sources have different nutritional influences. We also highlight the importance of strong digestion, as it plays a role on the effective use of protein by the body within holistic diets. Dietary protein is typically sourced from two main categories: natural real foods, such as whole foods, and supplements, such as powders. Whole foods offer not only protein, but also a variety of other essential nutrients. On the other hand, protein powders can be convenient, but may fall into the ultra-processed category. From a holistic perspective, prioritizing natural sources of protein is generally recommended for sustainable physiological well-being. Additionally, another important aspect is that protein requirements vary significantly between professional athletes and healthy adults, including those who engage in bodybuilding, weight training, or high-intensity workouts, as well as individuals with little exercise but led generally healthy lifestyles. Understanding these distinctions is key to obtaining and effectively managing dietary protein. This principle is an essential factor in holistic nutrition. Briefly, let's consider what protein actually is. Protein is a macromolecule made up of amino acids. Currently, it is suggested that we use only 20 from the hundreds of amino acids. These have been classified as into which ones the body can and cannot make. 1. Non-essential amino acids. They can be obtained from foods and also generated within the body. 2. Conditionally essential amino acids. Healthy individuals can generate them under normal physiologic conditions. 3. 9. Essential amino acids. They cannot be generated within the body. Dietary protein, therefore, provides these amino acids, which are needed to make certain hormones and other important molecules. In terms of natural plant proteins, there are several good sources that can add dietary variation. Based on requirement of essential amino acids, holistically the plant moringa, which we discussed in our last segment, contains all 9 amino acids, making it a potential important plant for plant-rich diets. However, the amount of all 9 amino acids may be variable. In addition, there are several other important therapeutic uses of moringa, as suggested in our previous video on moringa. So, along with amino acid count, the amount of each amino acid also matters. Next, we look at some variable recommended daily amounts for protein intake. According to Lonnie et al. 2018, the current international recommended dietary allowance for protein is approximately 0.8 gram per kilogram of body weight, regardless of age, for generally healthy adults. These recommendations are derived as a minimum amount to maintain nitrogen balance and are not optimized for physical activity level. Individuals with low physical activity have decreased rates of nitrogen retention and therefore, in order to maintain muscle tissue, have increased protein requirements in comparison to those who are active. However, although the former is somewhat understandable, holistically the view also includes that inactive individuals may not have the metabolic demand or the stimulus that promotes optimal protein synthesis, leading to a situation where protein intake exceeds what the body can effectively use. Thus, a balance of activity level and protein intake, as well as good digestion, is essential for maximizing protein utilization and minimizing excess accumulation. Similarly, Campbell et al. 2007 suggests that the International Society of Sports Nutrition that exercising individuals need approximately 1.4 to 2.0 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. The amount is dependent upon the mode and intensity of the exercise, the quality of the protein ingested, and the status of the energy and carbohydrate intake of the individual. Concerns that protein intake within this range is unhealthy are unfounded in healthy, exercising individuals, and attempts should be made to obtain protein requirements from whole foods apart from supplements. Subsequently, certain types of natural real foods can offer the amino acids that the body uses to synthesize its own proteins in day-to-day diets. For example, leucine and valine found in pumpkin seeds, these are essential amino acids, meaning the body cannot produce them and must obtain them from dietary sources. Further, dietary protein, as well as other nutrients, are essential for building and repairing tissues, making enzymes and hormones, and supporting immune function. Dietary protein is also vital for the production of enzymes and hormones, supporting various biological processes, maintaining healthy immune system, and providing energy when carbohydrates and fats are not available. Essentially, protein is indeed not just about isolated bulk, it's also about the amino acid content and the balance of amino acids, as well as its interplay with other important nutrients. Dietary protein also requires a balanced approach, where a balanced combination of nutrients is necessary for optimal use and performance. Additionally, a complete protein contains all 9 essential amino acids that the body cannot produce on its own, thereby by definition providing a higher quality source of protein nutrition. This is one of the reasons why several sources of protein are often combined to create complete protein. Secondly, uptake by the body and effectiveness play a key role in the advantage of consuming protein. For example, in holistic sciences such as Ayurveda, if digestion is weak, despite performing a high level of physical training, the efficiency of protein uptake is potentially not optimal. This may display as post-protein consumption bloatedness, digestive discomfort, improper excretion, etc. Therefore, to support and improve digestive strength is worked with using helpful natural foods beneficial for gut efficiency. In this category, particular plant herbs are also used based on individual suitability, such as ginger, fennel, and foods rich in natural fiber, etc. Natural fiber foods can help counter the effects of constipation related to higher protein intake. Here is another example of a natural plant source used to help in improving gut efficiency. An enzyme found in papaya called papain can help support the breakdown of proteins, potentially aiding in digestion and absorption. Depending on suitability in weak digestion, the addition of papain through fresh natural papaya or a natural papaya supplement may benefit. Papain is categorized as being a proteolytic. Proteolytic refers to the process of breaking down proteins into smaller peptides or amino acids through the action of enzymes known as proteases. Papaya is also rich in soluble fiber and considered a prebiotic. It also contains non-digestible fibers that serve as food for probiotics in the gut. Also, it is widely recognized that incorporating protein into a balanced diet can aid in weight loss and effective weight management. Additionally, in terms of healthy weight loss and weight management, Song et al. 2016 suggests that high-protein, low-carbohydrate diets are often promoted for weight loss and health benefits. While specific amounts and types of protein can affect factors like the insulin-like growth factor, the source of protein also plays a vital role. This is because different protein sources can influence other dietary components such as macronutrients, micronutrients, and phytochemicals, which can affect physiological outcomes. Thus, considering food sources is essential to understanding the physiological effects of protein intake and refining regular dietary sources. Holistically, variation can be quite important. Next, we take an example of individual protein requirements for a healthy adult with high-intensity physical training, such as weight training. If we use the approximate range recommendation of 1.2 grams, the lower end, to the higher end, 2.0 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight for the daily intake for a physically active individual or athlete-level individual. This range is aimed at supporting muscle repair, growth, and overall recovery for athletes and those engaged in resistance training or intense physical activity. Here is an example of a calculation. Take the weight of an individual in kilograms, multiply this number with the individual daily requirement of 1.2 grams of protein. So, an individual weighing 70 kilograms would be calculated as 70 kilograms multiply with 1.2 grams per kilogram, which equals to 84 grams of protein, subject to individual needs. This suggests approximately, give or take, 84 grams of protein is required by this individual per day, based on their individual parameters. The figure of 84 grams of protein per day could be distributed in terms of daily foods, for example, in meal distribution. If someone is consuming a total of, say, 84 grams of protein per day, this can be distributed across meals. Ultimately, the precise amount and distribution will depend on individual requirements, activity levels, and specific purpose. However, holistically, this is not the only factor to consider. The amount of a particular source of protein can also carry several other micronutrients that provide anti-inflammatory actions. In context of an individual that weight trains to a high intensity, inflammatory responses by the body post-training can be a normal response, usually transient. Therefore, anti-inflammatory foods may be helpful for their anti-inflammatory effects. And some isolated meat sources of protein may not be as conducive to this. For instance, red meat due to its inherent levels of acidity once it's digested. During metabolism, red meat can produce acidic byproducts, which may contribute to increased acidity in the body if not consumed with other balancing foods, such as anti-inflammatory vegetables. Next, we consider the potential of whole real food plant protein sources in long-term physical well-being. According to Song et al. 2016, suggests that based on 2 cohort studies involving individuals with moderately higher protein consumption, it has been identified that plant protein has not been associated with increased insulin-like growth factor 1 and has been linked to lower blood pressure, reduced LDL, and improved insulin sensitivity. Substitution of plant protein for animal protein has been related to lower incidence of cardiovascular problems and type 2 diabetes, suggesting that highly processed protein sources such as particular animal meats may have a critical and non-beneficial health effects over the long term, partially to do with their overprocessing. Subsequently, plant protein may confer substantial health advantages. But it is necessary to point out that here we are not talking about highly processed plant protein, but natural real foods that are good sources of natural protein, cooked and combined. High protein of a particular source has also been, in some individuals, associated with higher health-related issues. However, this is also directly associated with lack of physical activity and the type of protein consumed over a long-term period, as well as any underlying health concerns. Madsen et al. 2017 state that in individuals aged 50 to 65, a high protein intake may be associated with increased overall mortality. However, this was not observed if the proteins were plant-derived. It was suggested that the intake of animal proteins was a main factor driving the increase in overall mortality, highlighting the importance of the protein source, and the type of dietary protein would most likely modulate the anti-obesogenic effect of high-protein diets. Lastly, here are some examples of good sources of plant protein for variation. 1. Moringa. 2. Cooked red lentils. 3. Pumpkin seeds. 4. Quinoa grain. 5. Cooked green mung bean. Most of these sources in portions of 100 grams contain a good amount of essential amino acids, some with all 9 essential amino acids, as well as several micronutrients and therapeutic actions. You can view more detail in some of our last videos. Lastly, the long-term effects of high or exaggerated levels of protein on liver and kidney function also has an association. The element of long-term effects of highly processed proteins, such as powders and synthetics, should also be factored in for those considering a holistic approach to protein intake. High-protein diets may increase glomerular filtration rate, GFR, which is a marker of kidney workload. In healthy individuals, this is usually manageable, However, for individuals with pre-existing kidney issues, high protein intake may influence this further. It is also suggested that excessive protein may accelerate the progression of kidney issues in susceptible individuals. And the liver is integral to amino acid metabolism, and while it can process higher protein levels, chronic excessive intake may lead to increased load on liver for individuals with existing liver-related concerns. These are a few areas to be aware of when consuming more protein than the body requires, as one size does not fit all. Overall and in general, protein is essential for muscle growth, repair, and overall health. A strong digestive system enhances protein absorption, maximizing what the body can benefit from consumed protein. By breaking down proteins into amino acids, the digestive system fuels the body efficiently. Understanding this interaction is crucial for improving protein efficiency. Remember, improvement doesn't always require drastic changes. Rather, it hinges on a commitment to consistent, gradual steps toward sustainable improvement, which is very possible. Subject to individual suitability and individual health status.